Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And today I'm going to be working with the fabulous, awesome Otters and also the Sunshine and Rainbows DSP. Both of these are free gifts when you spend £45, or either one is a free gift when you spend £45 on any Stampin' Up! Products at all. Even stuff in the clearance, you spend £45, you can choose one of these items for free, and for every £45 you spend thereafter as well. There are some that are available if you spend £90, a combined DSP and stamp set, but these are just some of the lovely ones that are available for £45 spends. So the Sunshine and Rainbows DSP, designed to go with the new catalogue Rainbows, but these are so useful. They've got fabulous patterns that can be used at any time of year or with any stuff product as a background. Some fabulous clouds here, as you can see. On the reverse, lovely little mini rainbows, fabulous bright stripes and hearts. You know, misty moonlight in there. The colours are Bermuda Bay, you've got Flirty Flamingo, you've got Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness in there, the hot pink, Mango Melody, you've got Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Soft Sea Foam and So Saffron. But as you can see, a real rainbow of colours in there, and they do make a beautiful rainbow, but the patterns on the back are so useful as well. You could use them for any occasion. So if rainbows aren't your thing, but look at those lovely little stuffed clouds as well. So 6x6 paper, there are 12 patterns, and so therefore you get 4 sheets of each, 48 sheets of paper. And then the awesome Otters, a lovely little stamp set, 3 fabulous Otters, little hat and a couple of sentiments as well. And this is what I'm going to make. So this is a Peekaboo Z Fold. Off the top of my head, I saw this, oh gosh, can't remember whose blog it was. Have I made a note? No, can't remember whose it was. Might have been Julie Davison. Pass. Anyway, it's a really fun. So you've got the image peeking through there, and when you open it, you've got a second image. So you can have it open like so, and see both images on the front, rather than sometimes obviously you only see the front one, but it would look just as fun that way as well, because you've got that staggered effect. So that's what we're making. Really simple card to make, but what I'm also using are one of our staples. So here you go with the dies. You've got standard layering circle dies, and I'm using these two here. So they're kind of like the 3rd and 4th, I think. Yeah, they're 3rd and 4th size up on those. So to start off with, you need to do a bit of die cutting. So we're going to cut two of our smaller circles in plain white, and then we're going to cut one in Bermuda Bay in this larger size. So just grab yourself some scraps. And there we go. Oh, sorry, you want 2 of each. You want 2 of the larger size. So you want one, a larger one, and you want 2 plain white. Okay, once you've done that, take one of your larger Bermuda Bay, and you just want to line up the smaller one over the top. If you want to put it in place with a bit of tape, then that would be great, because what you then want to do is run it through your machine. And there you go. This is what you're going to get. So you're going to get a porthole, and then as I say, you've got your second one here as well. So those are our images, pieces. You're also going to want a piece of basic white that is, it is 10 by 6.5 centimetres. You want a piece of Bermuda Bay. Now on the one, the sample that I made, I actually kept it at the same size on the front, but I'm not sure whether I might like to actually have a bit of a lining. It might have looked more effective with a layer, so I'm going to do a really narrow border on that to create it. So and then you want some DSP as well, so I've taken a sheet of each, as I did before, and then one piece of cardstock that is 28 by 10.5 centimetres. So, to create our card base, we're going to take our piece of card and we're going to score that at 7 centimetres and at 14 centimetres. So, we're going to cut our background piece at 10.5 centimetres, and then I want two pieces which are 7 centimetres, like so. And then, as I said, because I'm using my Bermuda Bay, this layer is 8.5 by 12 centimetres. So I'm actually going to just go to 8.2. And instead of 12, I'm going to go to 11.8. That's just going to give me a really narrow border on that piece of card. So let's add our DSP. Now I'm just using a bit of wet glue, and I'm making sure I'm actually putting a bit extra on that, because when I've cut my aperture I don't want it lifting up. So this lovely kind of clouds piece, just going to layer that onto there with that teeny tiny narrow border, and with the glue we've just got a tiny bit of wriggle room. And I'm going to take my smaller one of my 2 dies. I'm going to pop that in the corner just there with a really sort of narrow border and pop that through my die cutting machine. So while I'm doing this off camera, I might try and edit this bit out. It only takes a few seconds. You end up with this here, and that naturally gives a little recess for us, so that's where we're going to pop our circle. So flip it over, and I'm going to use a fine tip here just to add my glue. And again, with things like this, you don't want a big layer, you only want the finest of layers, because you don't want it oozing out afterwards. Now what I have done on my original card, let me show you, so just pop that on there, and I've actually gone round the edge of that with some Wink of Stella, almost to create like a metallic, I mean I could have made it grey and done a metal porthole, but I just thought it was a bit of fun to add a bit of Wink of Stella to create our shine. So pop that to one side so that can be drying, and while that is drying, let's crack on with the card. So bone folder, really good for creasing these. Good idea to fold it with the crease first before you fold it back to create that Z fold. And this is where, if you've got any cuts that are slightly raised, just run your bone folder over those edges as well. And now we can add our panels. Just for speed, these are nice and easy to line up. Decide which way you want your squiggles and just line that up with the edge. So, do the same on the other side, on this front panel. There we go. Okay, and now we can do some stamping. So take your 2 circles, and what you're going to do is grab some memento and a couple of our images. So by die cutting this first, it just means I can position it just where I want it on those. And then I'm going to come in and colour those with my Stampin' blends. Now I'll just do the one that image. I've already coloured one of those in. So there we go. So I'll just show you what the colours I've used to colour this in. So I have used my Pool Party. I've had to use my dark because my light is running out and I'm waiting to place an order to pop that in. I've used some dark crumb cake, some dark soft suede and some light crumb cake. I've used a wink of Stella and some light smoky slate. So I've used that for the fish, just because I thought it was a bit of fun to have a silvery fish and it just adds a little bit more interest. And I also used that on the nose as well. Didn't want to obliterate those details, so I'm just going to pop a bit of wink of Stella on our fish to start off with. Helps if you turn the cap the right way, doesn't it? So first thing I'm going to do on this is actually go over everything apart from the eyes and the fish with my light crumb cake. That's my kind of base colour, and that's starting to get the card saturated to allow me to do some blending. Now there are lots of people out there who are much better at colouring, but hopefully this is effective enough for us. There we go. So I've gone over the whole of that with my light crumb cake. I'm then going to use my dark crumb cake and the bullet point on the inside of his sort of tummy, kind of in those areas where there might be a little bit of shadow, just a little bit darker around the outside, under the arms, like so. And I'm going to use my dark soft suede just to add a bit more depth around the outside and around that stuff, again, almost on the stuff arms. Kind of add a bit of differentiation on those little bits. Then the outer bit I'm going to use my dark crumb cake and kind of blend. Like so. And then come in again with my light crumb cake to give it all a good blend. So the outer I'm going to come over all of it, all the way over, to really blend those colours together, and that gives them a sort of darker shade of the outer fur. And then just on the edges of where that where that crumb cake is on the inside, so I've kind of got lighter bits there. So there we go. And then all that remains is to go around with some Pool Party on the outside, just sort of quite loosely, not being sort of too specific there. And as I said, because my light Pool Party is starting to go, I'm just going to come in with my colour lifter just over that Pool Party and over the edges to soften that as well. Okay, so now we can add our images. So first thing to do is decide which one's going to go where, and having done that, I'm going to put the image that's going onto this panel here onto my second circle of Bermuda Bay. Just centralise that slightly. and this one is going to go onto this panel here. So on my panel, what I'm going to do is on the reverse add some dimensionals, and just I want to make sure that that is nice and secure, so I just add sort of half a dozen on the back there. And with my card folded in the Z position, as you can see, I'm going to pop that centrally onto my card, so it's just sticking to this front Z here. Now that that's in position, I'm going to put some wet glue, and this time I'm not going to go right to the edge, so I'm allowing myself a little bit of extra space to line it up. And with that hovering there, I'm going to pop it in and then just slide that into position. Just making sure that before you do that, obviously you've actually made sure your top layer is stuck well, because you don't want to slide just your top layer. Then we're going to do similar with this one here, but we're not going to mount it because we want it fairly flat. So again, we're going to put it not quite to the edge. In fact, in this one, we can pop it through the aperture. And just line it up. Okay, now to decorate our card and add our sentiment. A couple of party hats, because otters always wear party hats, of course. Again with the sentiment, and this time I'm going to do You're Utterly Awesome in the middle there, and I'm just going to stamp the other sentiment twice. I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, so while that one is now drying, we can add our layer. Make sure it's the right way up. And I have cut that slightly smaller so that you have got the border just there. But now we're going to do our little sentiments. So I've got some scraps of card, I've got my snips, and I'm going to go cut along the bottom and along the top. And on the first one, I'm cutting out the its. So I'm cutting close to the B of birthday for the its and close to the Y for time. Okay, so that's my its and my birthday. So then same again, but this time I'm going to cut close to the T and close to the S. That'll give me my spacing around my birthday. And then quite simply, all I'm going to do now is just add a little glue to the back of those. And I usually then just find an edge to stick those onto. So, again, the wet glue just helps give me a little bit of movement. Okay. So then once you've done that, just line those up And because we're not going to be making them absolutely straight, it doesn't matter if they're not perfect. Then you're just going to cut around the edge to get our little narrow border. Not measuring, but it just helps lift those very slightly. And the last one. So there we have our 3 little sentiments. And then just flip those over and add some dimensionals. I'm just using our little mini dimensionals, and all it's going to need is a couple on the bigger word, and then just one each on each of those. Helps if you put them on the card that you're intending to. And then I just randomly added those to the front. And there we have an utterly awesome pair of fun birthday cards. So I think I prefer it with my border, just adds a little bit of extra to it. What do you think? What do you prefer to do? Do you do them always the same? Have a play, see what you think. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen, you can get them for free by purchasing £45 worth of product from my Stampin' Up shop at heidismith.stampinup.net, or click on the links below and it'll take you to my shop, and then you get to choose a celebration item for free at the checkout. Thanks for watching. Bye now.